On this episode of the Turnbuckle, AJ Styles has suffered a potential leg injury at a WWE live event. WWE is not talking about Tyson Fury's US ban due to alleged mob ties, and Sting has plotted a career endgame for himself. Folks, we're running your favorite wrestling movies and wrestling news because it's time for the Turnbuckle. Reports came out last night that AJ Styles suffered an injury during a live event in Hershey, Pennsylvania as part of WWE's Holiday Tour, and PW Insider has confirmed that it is 100% legitimate and isn't part of any storyline. The situation is likely an ankle injury, and the former WWE champion is expected to be getting the situation checked out ASAP. But until that has taken place, there is no way of knowing how serious it is or how long he will be out of action. It was noted that Styles was having issues putting weight onto his left foot after the match, and he did have to be walked out by WWE officials to get him into the back. Footage online from fans in attendance showcased the X symbol being flashed by the referee, which is a universal sign of a real injury in the wrestling business. Neither Styles nor any other member of the OC has made any official comments about the situation, but further updates will come once Styles has been checked. He was originally expected to be facing Seth Rollins tonight at the Coca-Cola Coliseum in Toronto, Canada, but that is now likely to be changed. Hopefully it's not anything too serious. I know that Bray Wyatt also broke his finger at the house show. Apparently, I didn't even know that even happened. I was so enamored by the fact that he was performing at the house show and everybody was so over the moon about it, and apparently he broke his finger at that same place. So I mean, it doesn't really seem like anybody's safe there. But no, I mean the most that I can say really is that at least he's not in any prominent storylines right now. It doesn't really seem like we're gonna be seeing AJ Styles. I mean, okay, I don't want to make it seem like, it's a good thing that he got injured. I'm just saying that it's very handy right now that he wasn't really involved in anything super in depth or anything like that, so he can take off as much time as he needs in order to recover and everything, and hopefully he's not really going to be missing too much. You don't want him to be out for too long. You don't want him to miss the Rumble. I mean, hopefully it's nothing super serious or anything. It's nothing more than a fracture or something, or a sprain, and he's not going to be out for too long, because I don't want him to miss the Rumble. I don't really think anybody wants that to happen, so hopefully he makes everything, hopefully he goes over tests and stuff like that, and everything's perfectly fine, because other than that, I mean, you don't want this to happen to anybody, and obviously you don't want them to be out for too long, because you don't want to hear that a reports come out and apparently it turns out that they were going to be involved in some sort of high angle storyline or something like that. So here's hoping that he makes a speedy recovery and he's back sooner rather than later. Next, we're going to talk about WWE not talking about Tyson Fury's US ban because it's due to alleged mob ties. According to The Sun, Tyson Fury is losing millions of dollars from participation in the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania because he is not allowed in the United States due to his relationship with Daniel Kinahan, an accused Irish cartel head who is Fury's friend and advisor. The report also said that Tyson Fury and WWE had events planned, and despite WWE's efforts to employ legal means to bring Fury into the nation, he was unable to enter for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania at this time. They pointed out that WWE could still utilize Fury in Saudi Arabia or the United Kingdom. According to one major WWE source, according to Wrestling Observer newsletter, he could not say the story wasn't true, but noted it was not something talked about. It was noted that Fury was not willing to put people over or even look vulnerable, and if he were to be in the Royal Rumble as a surprise, what would he do, and how does it even make sense for him to do a quick Rumble cameo given the amount of money it would cost to use him? So this explains, well, I don't know exactly how far back it goes, but if you remember, Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman got into it. Tyson Fury was allowed at the stadiums before the show, so it's confusing that he was allowed there, and now all of a sudden, this whole involvement. I mean, I'm just saying that I guess this is just recently happened, because I mean, I thought that Tyson Fury wasn't going to be allowed at any of those, the regular TV shows. So, I mean, considering that this is just recently cropped up, I mean, I don't really know what to tell you other than, Tyson, if I were you, I would probably try and get that sorted out, because I feel like it's going to hinder you a lot. It seems to only be hindering WWE. It doesn't really seem to be doing a whole lot to his fights, I guess. I don't really follow Tyson Fury that closely. I know that he recently got in trouble for a fight that he did because that he knew that it would be easier or something. That's about as much as I know. I don't really follow him, all that much. So hearing something like this, I mean, yeah, man, it's kind of the same thing with Logan Paul. You don't really want, a company like WWE to sort of tell you hey, it's not going to work out, pal. You're going to have to figure something else out. Calling a spade, WWE is a very lucrative opportunity for anybody who wants to get involved. So I feel if you're Tyson Fury, you kind of want to, make sure that gets snuffed out before you do anything else. And I mean, it seems like WWE want to get him involved in a couple things. The whole Saudi Arabia thing with Braun Strowman, and then he got real quickly involved in the whole Austin Theory thing with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and that was the Clash at the Castle. So when you think about it, that was probably when it was going on, I guess. So, you know, I assume that it probably didn't take too long for that to sort of like get into effect, I guess. So it sounds like WWE wants to do stuff with him with the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and stuff like that. It sounds like WWE wants to create like a huge buzz for these pay-per-views, and they felt as though the Tyson Fury was going to be a decent fit for them. But I mean, look, as you can see, that's probably not going to happen right now, and I don't really know how long it's going to take before that actually does start getting into effect, you know, before WWE and Tyson can start working again. I mean, again, I guess we're just going to have to do the same thing that we did with Logan and just sort of wait until this blows over, I guess, because I don't necessarily know what you do about this scenario. I guess you just come out publicly and go, he's not my friend. I've never met him before, even though that would just make things weird. So, I mean, only time will tell how this is going to affect Tyson Fury and the WWE going forward. And, you know, if you're Tyson Fury, hopefully this gets resolved sooner rather than later. Finally, we're going to be talking about Sting and how he has plotted a career endgame and how Darby Allin will be a part of it. Sting says he has an idea of what he would like to do with the remainder of his career, but is keeping his cards close to his chest. The 63-year-old took part in an in-depth interview with The Ringer released on Thursday. During the discussion, he spoke about having plotted out his endgame. Well, I know Darby Allin is going to be a part of it for sure, Sting said. I won't have a singles match at this point. Darby will be along with me, and I will be along with him, and we can add more to it as far as I'm concerned, but I have a few people in mind, and I really don't want to say any more now. Sting also spoke about what the future may hold for Darby. For Darby, there is life beyond wrestling as well, Sting explains. He's a very creative guy, and he's got ties with some pretty influential people all over the country. I believe that he stays in the wrestling industry, if he stays here with AEW, that eventually he'll have some sort of creative control and some sort of leadership role where he's coordinating. I believe that he has the ability to do something in film. Anything that has to do with art, anything that has to do with risking your life, he's going to do. This guy's jumping off bridges 100 feet high. He's jumping over houses with cars. He has an interest in skateboarding. He loves to just be out and about rubbing shoulders with people that love to experience life to its fullest. A really unlikely duo, Sting and Darby Allin. Like when Sting showed up, you kind of thought that he was going to be rubbing shoulders with Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes is, you know, gone on record to be like, oh, I love Sting, and he's a huge part of why I do this and everything. So you kind of assumed that it was going to be Sting and Cody, but I would argue that a lot of us, I mean, I don't know, considering, okay, so when Sting showed up and Darby Allin was like there, and he gave Darby Allin the rub, I know that, I remember I think he gave Darby Allin the rub like way in the beginning, and then everyone started calling Darby Allin like mini Sting, and I think that's where it started, and like since then, they've been on an absolute tear. I don't remember if they were the tag team champions. I don't think they won them at any point, but I know that respectively, they've both been in like absolutely fantastic matches over the, 3 years of AEW? So, you know, I mean, it makes a lot of sense that Sting would come out and be like, yeah, man, I wanted to be with Darby Allin, you know what I mean? So, I really like that. I really like that if the chip fell anywhere else, it wouldn't be Sting and Darby Allin. It probably wouldn't even be Sting, and it would probably just be Sting, you know what I'm saying? So, it sounds like Sting is sort of like mapping his way out, and you know what, man? More power to him, because listen, he's been around the block more times than I could even think of. Okay, he's gone through incredible iterations of his character, and I mean, he's still beloved to this very day, and he's one of the legends, all right? Folks, what did we talk about? We talked about AJ Styles getting injured, and obviously that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear that AJ Styles, I mean, you want to hear that AJ Styles is going to be recovering. I think that's potentially going to happen hopefully soon. I don't really know that he's going to like make a recovery like within the next like week or two. It's probably going to take like a week just to figure out what happened. So, I mean, yeah, man, until then, hopefully makes a speedy recovery. Tyson, man, you're really not helping yourself with this ties thing to the mob boss. I mean, again, unless he just comes out and is like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not friends with him. I never seen the guy. Again, you know, that'll be like too suspicious. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess get this sorted out, because I mean, it sounds like WWE wants to work with you, so, you know, if I were you, I'd probably want to try and fix that. And Sting's retiring. Well, he's not retiring now, but he's got an idea of how he wants to go out, and I really respect that, you know. He's been around for a very, very long time. He's an absolute legend in the business, and, you know, of all the people, it's got to be Sting. He's got to be like, look, this is what I want to do. You don't want it to be a thing of, like, WWE or AEW being like, hey, this is what I think your last match should be. And it turned into, like, a Shawn Michaels Saudi Arabia thing. Like, you don't want that. If anything, you want to go out on, like, your terms, you know, and you want to, like, do it right and everything. So, you know, when that day actually does come, you know, it's gonna be sad, but at the same time, what can you really say? I mean, golly, man, the stuff that Sting has done over the years, it's absolutely insurmountable. Okay, folks, that's gonna do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, big hugs all around.